Hello, everybody. I am back here to do another movie review, and this time I'm going to do a movie that doesn't have as big of a following as any of the films I've talked about prior. It's slowly, again, another film that is slowly gaining attention over time. And this one, of course, is Krull. Krull is a fantasy science fiction adventure film that came out all the way back in 1983, and it was directed by a filmmaker named Peter Yates, who, for those of you that aren't familiar with him, Peter Yates, he has directed many films throughout his career, but there is one other film he made that definitely is famous, and is this one. He did the action film Bullitt from 1968, was the film that made Steve McQueen famous. Bullitt is basically it's an action cop thriller, and it has probably one of the greatest car chases ever put on screen for any film, which is interesting because Peter Yates, before he went into filmmaking, he actually started his career as a race car driver. Very interesting. And yeah, by the way, it's crazy that these two films don't have anything in common with each other besides having the same filmmaker. So anyway, we're talking about Krull. Krull is actually, it reminds me a lot of The Dark Crystal because it's set in a world that is probably several galaxies away. Krull is actually the name of the planet the film takes place on, which is interesting. Basically, the story of Krull is Prince Colwyn, played in the film by actor Ken Marshall, that's him on the front cover there, and ultimately decides that it's best to unite two kingdoms by him marrying the Princess Lissa, played in the film by actress Lysette Anthony, who probably best known for Mel Brooks fans. She was Lucy from Dracula Dead and Loving It. And Colwyn thinks that their marriage will unite their two kingdoms. And then, all of a sudden, this giant rock mound shows up on the planet in the form of a dark fortress, and its master, the Beast, giant monster there, sends out his minions to basically destroy all life on Krull and take over the planet. Both Colwyn and Lissa's parents are killed during the conflict, and unfortunately, Colwyn is now left with the task of becoming the king, because since, the lineage now passes on to him. Lissa is captured by the Beast, and Colwyn now sets off on a journey to save her, and to hopefully find some way to destroy the Beast, but in his physical human form, he has no power capable. That is until a healer sends him on a quest to retrieve a powerful mythical weapon called the Glaive, which is this 5-star pointed blade weapon that has the power to take on the Beast. But unfortunately, he's only told to use it when it's absolutely necessary, which is interesting because he finds it so early in the movie. Most of the time during fantasy adventure films, when somebody goes on a quest to retrieve a powerful weapon, it usually doesn't occur until near the tail end of the film, but this happens pretty early in the movie. No spoilers, I promise. But for anybody that has seen the film, they probably understand exactly what I'm talking about. But for newcomers, yeah, it is kind of interesting to see him retrieve the weapon real early. Along the way, he meets up with powerful allies. A lot of them are escaped prisoners. He even meets up with a one-eyed Cyclops creature, and also a skin changer, or a shapeshifter, if you will. Shapeshifter, by the way, in the movie was played by the same guy that was the science school teacher from the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. There's a nice little fact there, especially for those that have seen the movie or didn't know that fact. But that's a fun fact to know about. Yeah, I mean, the movie itself, that's pretty much the story in a nutshell. Over time, yeah, the movie, unfortunately, when it came out, it was one of those films that looked like it was intended to be a hit from the get-go because the concept, was way out there. And for a movie like Krull, it's almost like Sony, Columbia Pictures, the company that put the movie out theatrically, they were like, I don't know, you think this, it looked like a good idea on paper, but when it first came out, I don't think people knew what to make of the movie. The movie actually had a pretty decent sized, pretty massive budget at the time. Although I did look it up, some resources say the budget was around $30 million. There was even a resource that said the budget of the movie was around $50 million. But $30 million sounds more appropriate according to some of the websites I've actually visited. And unfortunately, on that $30 million budget, the movie only grossed about a little over half that. It made about $16.7 million domestically before it got pulled from the theaters. So, yeah, it died off pretty quickly. Most of the critical reception at the time was mixed. The visual effects, the film score, the acting, the acting all got praised, but the film was criticized for being derivative and a lot of people felt it just didn't make any sense. But over time, this movie gradually grew into a huge cult favorite because people understand this is the kind of movie. Well, in the early 1980s, there was like this sudden wave of fantasy adventure films. Probably all started when Conan the Barbarian showed up, and then The Dark Crystal came along, and before you know it, there was like this whole sudden burst of all these fantasy films just coming out of nowhere. And this movie was probably riding on the coat steps of both Conan and The Dark Crystal almost. Pretty much. And that's sort of what happened with Krull here. Krull has been released on, obviously over time when it got put out on home video, that's probably how, no doubt, that's how the cult following started with Krull. Now, unfortunately, I wish I had, any, like comic books, or if I had the soundtrack on CD. Unfortunately, I don't. All I have here is the Blu-ray. So I'm ready to talk about the Blu-ray. Krull has been released a couple of times on home video, and there is a DVD release. And now I have the Blu-ray by Mill Creek here. Yeah, I still have the Walmart sticker on it. I got it from Walmart for $7.50, which was a pretty nice deal. Mill Creek's Blu-ray of the film, I kind of have a bit of an up and down relationship with it. First of all, I love this VHS retro cover sleeve, which is really nice. It's pull it off here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It actually obviously it's nowhere near as thick as a VHS tape. I mean, because I was part of the VHS era growing up, so yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Probably the best bonus feature on the disc is this cover sleeve, which is really cool. So yeah, it's, like I said, very elaborate. It almost looks like it actually is a VHS tape. And that's how a lot of Columbia VHS titles were like too. They have the spine here is kind of like a VHS, and the back here acts like a VHS too. And here's the Blu-ray case. So yeah. Yeah, that's what one critic did say about the film, Excalibur meets Star Wars, which, yeah, it kind of is. I mean, it does act like a Star Wars clone. I mean, Colwyn does look like Han Solo, Lyssa is Princess Leia, the Beast is sort of like Palpatine and Darth Vader combined. Could say that, almost. So yeah, the Blu-ray itself, honestly, Mill Creek is usually notorious for being up and down when it comes to their Blu-ray titles. Some of their titles are really good in high def, and some just look flat out terrible. Krull is actually one of their releases that actually is really good. I'm impressed. The video quality on the disc is amazing. There's a lot of detail I never even noticed before that wasn't even on the DVD release. So, bravo to Mill Creek on this one. A lot of detail. A lot of stuff you never even noticed before. So out of 5 stars for the Blu-ray. Now, of course, there are a few murky spots, but again, it's a 1980s film, so I'm willing to overlook all that. But I'm gonna be very generous with the film. So out of 5 stars, I'm probably gonna go with a 4.25 or 4 1/4. So 4.25 for the video. Again, it looks amazing. As for the audio, once again, it sounds pretty good. It's in English DTS 5.1, believe it or not. 5.1 DTS. And it sounds pretty good. Voice dialogue comes out very well. So overall, I would say the audio, is about, I'm sorry, I'm messing with the, trying to get the thing to go in sync. Yeah, I'm trying to get the thing to go in focus. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, the audio, I would probably give the same rating to, out of 5 stars, a 4.25 out of 5. So I'd say the same thing. As for the bonus features, well, this is where I'm kind of disappointed because, unfortunately, there's not really much to say because the Blu-ray for Krull has no bonus features. There's none. And Mill Creek is notorious for that. They put a lot of their titles out. I mean, basically, this cover sleeve really is the bonus feature of the disc. I mean, it's a physical feature, but it's pretty disappointing that this is all you get. But yeah, it sucks. So basically, here's the Blu-ray. And also, you notice I have a DVD copy here of Krull. This is the special edition released by Sony, which actually does have bonus features on it. It comes with a pair of commentary tracks, a couple of featurettes on the making of the film, some trailers and TV spots, and even comes with a somewhat of a comic book cinematic, because obviously Krull did spawn off a series of comic books after the film came out. So for those of you that are fans of Krull, I would definitely, if you want the Blu-ray can be found pretty cheap online. I found it for like, you can get it used on Amazon for like $4, well, plus shipping and handling, so you'd end up paying about $7 for the Blu-ray. You can get it on eBay brand new for like $7, but if you want the version with the cover sleeve here, you'd have to pay a couple dollars more, so you'd end up paying about maybe $9 or $10 just to get a copy on Blu-ray, so that's not too bad. Now the DVD by Sony, I'm not sure how much that one is. It might be available. You'd probably be lucky to get it used, but if you want bonus materials to go with the movie, you'll probably have to grab a DVD copy, because the Blu-ray, though it has the upper hand in video and audio, sadly, Mill Creek didn't put any extras out, unfortunately. But the film is about to turn 40 years old next year, 40th anniversary, so maybe Sony, the company that actually owns the rights to the movie, maybe Sony will actually put out a 40th anniversary edition, or maybe Shout Factory will, who knows. It would be nice if they got that. But, as I've said, I definitely give the upper hand to Mill Creek for having a really good video and audio quality for the movie, but it's disappointing that the disc has no extras. Yeah, putting it on. Here we go. Gotcha. So I would say for the movie itself, I would probably give it a 4 out of 5. Because I'm being generous because this is a film I'm not completely familiar with, but I've seen it a couple of times. And also, the final note I think I did mention in the video already that this, or maybe I didn't, but this film, along with The Dark Crystal, I want to say this movie also is has to be a massive influence on Final Fantasy, because it has the medieval setting with a science fiction setting, and it's about a guy trying to save a beautiful princess and using a powerful mythical weapon to destroy a monstrous being. Yeah, I mean, those are things you'd find in a Final Fantasy game. So Dark Crystal and Krull, no doubt. When you look at these two films, all I can think of is they remind me so much of Final Fantasy. Pretty much. Well, the older games. The newer ones, not so much, because the newer ones they have more of a sci-fi, modern setting than any of the previous ones. So that's really about all I have much to say about. Oh yeah, like I said, out of 5 stars, I give the movie a 4 out of 5. So that's pretty much that's really all I have to say about Krull. Blu-ray, like I said, the video and audio are both really good on the disc. They're both really very good. This is definitely one of Mill Creek's definitely one of the stronger releases that Mill Creek put out, but the lack of extras on the disc is disappointing. But thankfully there is an earlier release of the movie on DVD that actually has bonus features on it. So if you want the extras, you'll have to seek that one out, or if you still have the DVD and you want the Blu-ray, hold on to that DVD copy. And then if you can get the Blu-ray really cheap, that's great, because it's definitely worth the watch. The video is great. The audio sounds great, but Mill Creek, no extras. You couldn't even port the stuff over from the Sony release. Must be a copyright thing. That's probably why. But anyway, yeah. So that concludes this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and definitely don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys then for the next video. So until then, take care and be safe.